Autumn, a time of misty light and fruitfulness, the season of harvest, cooling temperatures and lengthening darker nights. Blessed are you, autumn, feast of thanksgiving. You change our hearts into fountains of gratitude as we receive your gracious gifts and as we are drawn away from summer's hot breath. The harvest season, which has been celebrated since the dawn of time, can be split into 3 distinct natural festivals. The first being Lammas or Loafmas in August, the second the autumnal equinox, Harvest Home or the Feast of Ingathering, and the third being Samhain at the end of October. This particular year, our visions for the future and our gratitude for life's gifts feel doubly poignant. Despite the challenges and uncertainty, may you be truly thankful for the abundance of the harvest season. Here, in the rural parish of Fradswell in Staffordshire, where agriculture still plays a major role, we are fortunate in being able to enjoy the bounty of the countryside around us without having to go out and search for it. Many of us wake every morning to a wide view of open fields. It's never wise to work against Mother Nature, but always alongside her. Nature never hurries, but it's never late, and the seasons roll round seamlessly every year.
Autumn changes with a song. Winter swiftly follows on. All those yesterdays now leave better days tomorrow. Watch the world begin to die, getting colder all the time. Nights are drawing in, whispers on the wind bring sorrow. You and you and listen softly for a while. Give an understanding smile. But if you come with me, the May Queen, we will see us sleeping. Cut the wood and let it lie. Stack it well and keep it dry. Under every branch lies the evidence I speak of. You and you and gone the sun, and hear the snow. All that lives will come and go. Summer's warm will pass, kingdom in the glass will follow. Summer's warm will pass, the kingdom in the glass will follow.
In our country parish, Harvest Festival is the most popular service in the church, with members of our community bringing their homegrown produce for presenting at the harvest table. It is a joyous occasion as the church is decorated with a veritable cornucopia of harvest goods. After the service, everyone shares bread, cheese, homemade chutney and cakes, and we hold an auction of the donated produce. Sadly, due to the restrictions placed on us due to COVID-19, there will not be a harvest festival in our church this year. So instead, let's enjoy some wild worship and celebrate the harvest season from a more hands-on perspective. The fullness and fulfilment of the present harvest already holds at its very heart the seed of all future harvests. May this shift in nature lighten your soul. We begin with Lammas at the beginning of August, which marks the start of the harvest season and the ripening of first fruits. Now is the time to begin reaping what we have sown and gathering up the first harvests of grain. We last saw this field at Rogationtide in May, when we asked for blessings on the growing crop of oats, which will be used in the production of porridge. As you can see, our request was answered, and a plentiful crop is now being combined. Traditionally, a loaf made from the newly harvested crop would be blessed and then broken into 4 pieces and placed in the corners of a barn, where it served as a symbol of protection over the garnered grain. The practice of breaking a loaf at Lammastide still continues in our parish church today, and members of our congregation each take a piece to place in their barn, greenhouse or garden. Mother of the harvest, with your sickle and basket, bless us with abundance and plenty. As the seed falls to earth and is reborn each year, we will grow as the seasons change. As the grain takes root in the fertile soil, we too will find our roots and develop. As the smallest seed blooms into a mighty stalk, we too will bloom where we landed.
Maxwell Morris!
As the grain harvest is safely gathered in from Lammas and reaches completion, we now enjoy the abundance of fruit. As well as celebrating the agricultural harvest, it was also a traditional time of year for craft festivals, where villagers and wandering minstrels would create elaborate displays of their wares and would decorate themselves in bright colours and ribbons, and would perform strange ceremonial plays and dances for the entranced onlookers. Our village apple festival, Frapfest, takes place around the time of the autumnal equinox. This is when apples from the community orchard are harvested and turned into cider, having benefited from being wassailed in January and blessed at Rogatiantide in May. Usually, our community, along with visitors from the surrounding parishes, come together at our village hall to celebrate the harvest with food, cider, dancing and much merriment. But this year, a little earlier than usual on the 12th of September, to avoid the rule of 6, just a few hardy, socially distant folk took to the task of scratting and pressing apples and produced 1,120 litres of apple juice, enough for 2,240 bottles of cider. A fabulous harvest in this extraordinary year of 2020. As the weeks roll by, we then turn our minds to next year's harvests and the plan for stronger growth. We take time to rest after the labours of the harvesting season and consider our hopes and aspirations, a time to plant seeds of new ideas which will lie dormant until the return of spring. The Festival of Samhain at the end of October is the third and final harvest festival of nuts and berries, and was seen as a time to reflect on the past and dream of new beginnings. The grain, fruit and vegetables are gathered in, and hopefully there is an abundant supply to feed the community and livestock throughout the long, dark winter. The livestock are brought down from their summer grazing to lower pastures to be nearer to the farmsteads for winter. The seeds from the harvest have fallen deep into the earth, where they are unseen, dormant and apparently lifeless, until they germinate in springtime. The acorn is the seed of the great oak, representing wisdom, longevity, rebirth, a promise of strength to come. It is a time to think about those who have laboured before us, from whom we have learned skills and gained inspiration, wisdom and knowledge. A time to honour our ancestors. As a part of nature's wondrous cycle of new birth, growth, fruitfulness and death, we rejoice in the creation of new life, for parenthood, the passing on of knowledge, for understanding and the wisdom of years. We are grateful for those who have gone before, passing on to us our spiritual heritage. May our lives blossom as the apple tree in spring. May we become fruitful in thought and deed. And may the seed of love that falls to the ground linger beyond our time on this earth.
Now the green blade riseth from the buried grain, wheat that in the dark of many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. In the grave they laid him, love who had been slain, thinking that he never would awake again. Laid in the earth, like grain that sleeps unseen. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. Forth he came at Easter, like the risen grain. Jesus, who for 3 days in the grave had lain, quick from the dead, the risen one is.